Okay, so we're here for another Australian Collectors Chat. This is episode 17, The Chinning Joke.
Hello.
Hello, how are you going, Charlie?
I'm going well. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks. Not too bad. Rob may or may not be on with us tonight. He's not feeling well at the moment, and I think there's a bit of a bug going around in his family, or they're not feeling well anyway. So if Rob doesn't jump on tonight, big shout out. Hope you feel better soon, Rob, and we hope to have you back again on the chat next week. Of course,
Yeah.
tonight will not be the same without you. That's one thing. So I hope you get well soon, mate. And if you are watching this tonight, hope you sit back, relax, and watch me and Charlie talk about things and watch Charlie tear shit apart, because he's going to tear shit apart tonight. It's going down tonight. He's going to piss off the whole bunch of Killing Joke fans tonight.
Yeah.
Title being The Chinning Joke. It's what it's all about. It's about the chinning the Killing Joke. So we'll kick that off with that now. So Charlie, The Killing Joke. It's a controversial comic book, and it's also a very controversial film. Online I've read there's people that like it. Some people say it's a good film, but there's certain parts that could have been better, and then there's people that don't like the film at all. Like it's very mixed, straight down the middle. You like it or you don't. So you give us your thoughts on the film. Seems that you've watched it and I haven't, so it'd be good to hear your thoughts.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty lame. I remembered that it was out, and they actually put it in cinemas in limited release. I think Helmy might have gone to see it actually last weekend. You could go. There were a couple of cinemas in Melbourne showing it anyway. So The Killing Joke is pretty good. Alan Moore, sort of standalone story from the 80s, which I've always liked. But they decided that they just invent, I'm not spoiling anything when I say that Batgirl gets shot in the guts, because it's almost a fucking 30-year-old book. So read a comic. So they invented a bunch of Barbara Gordon stuff with her as Batgirl. It's like 40 minutes of extra stuff before the actual events of the comic book begin, which I didn't like at all. I was sitting there watching it going, God, I don't remember this in The Killing Joke at all. So I skipped through that, and by that stage I was angry at it anyway, because I was just thinking, this is just lameness, and I just want the actual events of the comic to start. And then when they did, I was sort of, now I don't want to watch it. So I watched a little bit more. I sort of saw how they were capturing the main beats of the comic. And then I just thought, nah, fuck it. You've lost me. I didn't like it. And I'm a bit over Kevin Conroy as Batman as well. I've been watching in the afternoon on Channel 9. They do Batman Brave and the Bold, and I watched that with my kids, and that Batman is actually voiced by Dietrich Bader, who I think is hilarious and is better than Kevin Conroy. Oh.
Funny you say that. I'll actually, now you just brought that up, I will be honest. I'm a person, like I say, I'm a huge Batman fan. You know that. I've been a Batman fan, for a long time. And Kevin Conroy is an actor where I think he's a good Batman. I think he does a good job for the most part. But lately, I've not been liking his performances. I think he's very phoned in. He's very uniform. He's very emotional, unless he doesn't have much emotion, in his acting the same. And I think there are some far better voice actors than him at the moment. So I think a good example of a better Batman voice would be Peter Weller from The Dark Knight Returns. I quite like his Batman.
Did he do Batman in that one?
Sorry.
That was RoboCop, was it?
Yeah, it was Peter Weller. Yeah, Peter Weller did the voice to that. Yeah,
That was even more then.
You know, dead or alive, you're coming with me. Yeah, but yeah, it's he was Peter Weller was Batman. I think he did an excellent job. Also, actually, I've got the if I have a look here, I've got some of the films. We'll have a look, shall we? What films I've got? I think these are all of them. I think so. Have a look.
What are you doing over there?
I'm looking for my stash of movies. Here we are. I got my animated films. Here we are. So I'm going to put these down here. I'll actually give you a run through of some of the voice actors. So you've got like this Batman series. I don't know if you've watched any of these. If people haven't, highly recommend. Have you seen those ones?
I think I've seen I think I've seen one on the right.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really love these films. I think they're great. And the voice actor of it is Jason O'Mara as Batman.
Okay.
I quite like his portrayal of Batman, and I actually like him more than Kevin Conroy now. And they're a great bunch of films. If you do want to get into Batman through animated, and then they did a bunch of Justice League films as well. That
I think I watched most of that.
So you got War, which are great again. I really enjoyed them, and that's the latest one versus Teen Titans, which I actually really enjoyed. It's probably the weaker one of the three, but it's still a good film. You know what I mean? It's not a bad film in any stretch. And then you've got here, which is an awesome, the Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and 2, which is voiced by Peter Weller, and I think Peter Weller is very good as a Batman because what he does is he doesn't sound like he's putting it on. He doesn't, like Kevin Conroy sometimes sounds like, I am Batman, you will die. You know what I mean? Like, he's just very, he never sounds like he's like, I am really angry, and he's just like, really? Are you angry? Prove to me that you're angry. And he's like, I'm angry. I'm Batman and I'm angry and fuck you, Whereas, like, Peter Weller puts, like, more emotion into his voice. And he sounds like an older Batman as well. You know what I mean? Like, he has that sound of age to him. Another good voice actor as well. I don't have any animated stuff with him in, but if you've played the Arkham Origins video game, and it's Roger Craig Smith. Roger Craig Smith is actually one of my favorites. He had to take up the role of Batman straight after Kevin Conroy, and everyone was judging him and Troy Baker because obviously they had to fill the shoes of Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill for that video game. But he's a great one because he's another one that kind of sounds a little bit like Kevin Conroy, but at the same time, he's got a little bit more. He's got more going on. You know what I mean? He's got more emotion in his delivery, and he does sound a lot better. And if you haven't heard Roger Craig Smith, definitely type in just Roger Craig Smith on YouTube or whatever, Batman, and he has a great voice to be Batman. And if I had to pick a Batman, or if I was Batman and I was going to put on a voice, I would put on Roger Craig Smith's voice. You know what I mean? Like, that's the voice I would pick. To be Batman. It's like this film. It's a good film. Assault on Arkham. It's a good film. Kevin Conroy's in it, but again, he sounds like, I'm Kevin Conroy. I'm bored. He's just like, I'm totally bored. And he just doesn't sound like he's he's interested. And the thing that saves it in this film is the fact it's basically Suicide Squad, the animated movie. It's it's about Deadshot leading a team of crooks into, I forgot where it is now. I think it's Arkham Asylum. Arkham Asylum. Of course, it's Assault on Arkham. But yeah, Kevin Conroy in it. He's a bit bland. I will be honest, and DC fanboys need to shut the fuck up because he's not the best Batman anymore. I'm sorry, it's over. It's over. Kevin the Conroy.
Yeah.
I don't mind him, but it's like when he says in Arkham Knight, he's like, if you're lying, I'll break the other one. But he just sounds like Kevin Conroy. He's like, I'm angry now. And then, I'm happy now. And you can't tell the difference. You know what I mean? Sometimes. And like I said, I don't hate his Batman. I think he can do a Batman voice, but I'm with you 100% of the way, Charlie, about the whole Kevin Conroy being a bit overrated now.
Yeah.
And,
move on.
Yeah. And like I said, he's only ever done Batman, so if he can't do Batman, God fucking help him. You know what I mean? If you look at IMDb, he hasn't got like a wide range of voice acting really. I'm Kevin Conroy. That's it. As Batman, he's never been anyone different. It's all Batman shit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't watch many of those movies. I do like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, which are a little bit old now, but
yeah,
those are the shows that I like. Those half hour ones with Kevin Conroy's in it. Who's the dude who plays Superman in that one? I can't remember.
I can't remember now. I always get mixed up on the Superman stuff.
Unlimited Superman. Anyway, I really like the art style in that one.
Yeah.
And I like that they get the whole, everybody in the Justice League and everybody, even like characters who you're like, whoa, they did an episode with like that character? Wow, that's cool. Because I can't find it. It doesn't matter. I really like that. And that's on every afternoon at the moment as well.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen an animated film. It's a really good one. It's a weird one, and not a lot of people, I think, have seen it as much because it's not your straight-up Batman and Superman stuff, but it's called Justice League Gods and Monsters. I don't know if you've seen it. That's the cover.
No.
And basically, it's an alternate universe where basically Superman has Zod's DNA in him, so he's technically Zod's child, not Jor-El's. But they send him back to Earth. But he lands in Mexico, and a Mexican family raise him. So he's got like more of a harsh environment. You know what I mean? He's grown up in, so he's a little bit more unhinged. And then you've got Batman, he's a completely different character, and he's basically like a scientist. He's a scientist, and he's trying to he's trying to cure cancer, or something like that. But he's using bats' DNA. I forgot what reason it is he's using it, but he uses bats' DNA, vampire bats' DNA, and mixes it with his own. But the reaction to it is he ends up, his body goes like pretty much core temperature drops, and he has a craving for blood and that, and he's basically like a vampire, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So he's a different sort of Batman altogether, and he has to deal with that. But he's like a nice guy. He's tortured by what he is, and he doesn't want to be what he is. He wants to try and reverse it, but he can't. But is again a cool character. And then the like Wonder Woman character in it, she's like her father is Darkseid, which is bizarre, but it's like a different Darkseid. It's like a completely different look.
Yeah.
But so it's like an alternate universe of that. But it was interesting. It's very violent, and again, a lot of these animated films, all these I own, I would never recommend them for kids because they're quite violent. compared to like your Saturday morning cartoons and all that shit.
Yeah.
But it's a good film, and it would turn people off, I think, at first, knowing that it's not Bruce Wayne, Batman, and all that lot. But it's actually quite a good film. And it's Bruce Timm as well. Bruce Timm, the same guy who did the fucking Killing Joke, made a good movie, and also did the animated, and all that lot. But yeah, it's a good film. But that's an interesting one. And the guy that voices Batman, and that doesn't sound like Batman. He sounds a lot different. He's the guy who plays Dexter. The TV series Dexter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's the voice of Batman in this.
Yeah, I could see him do Batman.
Yeah, he's a different sounding Batman. Like, he's not Kevin Conroy sounding like that. He's a much more quieter sounding Batman and a less aggressive sounding Batman. But he's cool because essentially his character isn't aggressive. He doesn't like to be the way he is. It's sort of just beaten into him. So. But yeah, it's a good film. But yeah, I totally agree with you there. Like I say, on the Kevin Conroy thing, I totally get that. But yeah. Well, anyway, back to the the Killing Joke now. So, what else did you think about the film as a general thing?
Yeah, I don't like often the way the animation looks in some of those DC feature films that they do. I understand it. I understand the look in like Batman Animated, Justice League, Unlimited, those sorts of ones, because they've all got the same sort of look. Everybody's got the similar body shape, and that's the way it looks. When they do these features, I think they should put more into it. I don't know, just looking at other animation. I mean, the Japanese are probably the best at animation, and some of the features, and even ancient Japanese animations, just the detail in the backgrounds and things like that are going on, they just look way better than the stuff that they put in these brand new, Warner Brothers features.
Yeah, it's like these are very well animated. The fight sequences and stuff are top notch. And do you know what? A lot of the animated movies, the ones I own here, the animation's really good, and I think that was the thing that pissed a lot of people off. From what I've been hearing about the Killing Joke, was, like you said, the description of like a Saturday morning cartoon. You understand why it's the way it looks, but when you invest,
if they're doing 40 odd episodes, then I can understand it. But, and that's the whole look of those Bruce Timm, animated series sort of look to look. But if you're going to do a feature, I don't know. Maybe they don't bother investing the money, and they just send it overseas for cheap animators to do on computers. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Because like I say, these ones I've got here, even we got the Dark Knight Returns and all that sort of stuff, and like I said, those 3 Batman movies and the Justice League ones in that universe are all really good at well animated movies. They're not films that I look at and go, oh, they're not. I mean, the one thing they are held highest for those films is because of their animation in a lot of cases. You know what I mean? They're an example of I'll get it right, and they're very Japanese, as in like the fighting in it. You know what I mean? It's very fast paced. And it holds nothing back. So yeah, I saw a few trailers for the Killing Joke, and it wasn't. it didn't all, like, some of it looked really good, and then there was this one scene that made me go, ooh, like, is it unfinished? And it was the bit, I don't know if you've probably seen it when watching it, but you know the bit where like Batman's like walking across like the hallway in the cells, like in Arkham or in one of the prisons, you know, and it's like that the scene, it just looks so like juttery, you know what I mean? Like it just it didn't come across like it was, you know, fluent.
Yeah, I wasn't
It's
feeling it. I wasn't
yeah,
feeling it. And I don't know why they did that whole extra, 40 minutes of Batgirl, Barbara Gordon. Do they do it because... And then they had that... Didn't they have a whole cover band last year that was like a Joker and Batgirl cover as well? Because, like, some feminists got upset or something? I can't remember.
yeah. I mean, there's some controversy with the film. I don't know how. I mean, I'm sure you've seen. Have you seen that Batman and and Barbara Gordon have sex in the film?
I don't think I saw them.
Yeah, so apparently that happens. I mean, it's not much of a spoiler because it's the first part of the film. But yes, Batman and Batgirl have sex in the film.
I could have watched that.
And for a lot of people, that was like an instant turn off. Just because, well, everyone sees Batgirl as like the daughter figure to Batman, don't they, really? And then he just...
That really happened. Batgirl 16. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so that's stirred a lot of shit up. So I just love... Yeah, I tell you what, though, it must have been fucking priceless. Like, imagine like Bruce Timm's just sitting behind like a glass wall, like one way you can only see through, and he's looking at all of the fans' faces when they see that, and they're just like, like, you know, just watching Batman and Batgirl get it on, and there's nothing they can do about it. Their childhood's just been raped within a few seconds. That would be funny to watch, you know.
Oh, okay. After a heated exchange in which she lashes out at Batman for removing her from a case, she kisses him, and it's implied they have sex. That takes place off screen. That's weird.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that for?
Yeah, that's funny.
I mean, why would you think people love that comic so much, and it's a good story? Why would you think you're not going to make it any better?
Yeah.
By writing a bunch more stuff. Just leave it alone.
I think what it is, yeah, I think what a lot of it is, Charlie, is it's because it's a short fucking comic. You know, it's not a massive graphic novel, and they're trying to kill time, you know, and push it over that hour mark, you know. So and also, look, I think a lot of it is all these days, no matter what you do, you're going to piss off somebody. It's like, you know, because it was controversial originally because of how it handled women, apparently, in the comic. But it's a dark comic, you know. It's not. You don't go in it and take your kids, you know. You don't go, hey kids, let's go see that, you know, because you'll just fuck with their heads.
I think it's probably the best, you know, version of the Joker's origin.
Yeah.
It's spot on, and it's straight from Alan Moore, and you know, it's a great Joker origin.
Yeah, it's a good comic. It's short though, and there's not a lot you can get wrong when you're doing something short and to the point. You know what I mean? It's a lot harder to fuck it up when you're not trying to kill time,
Yeah.
it doesn't take you an hour to read the comic, and you've got to turn the pages. You know what I mean? And read the text on the screen and look at the pictures. It doesn't take you that long to finish the graphic novel. So you can imagine them trying to make it into a movie and just trying to kill time. They're just total fucking idiots. But I'm going to watch the movie. I'm going to get it, and I'm going to watch it. And I probably won't hate it. I probably just won't think it's my favorite, Like I said, as a general rule, I generally say DC films, like the animated stuff's been very strong, and it's generally often overlooked as well. Not a lot of people watch the animated stuff, like the straight to DVD stuff, and it's really, really good stuff, but not many people watch it just because everyone's watching the blockbusters now, It's either a TV show or a blockbuster or nothing, but it sounds like, anyway, they missed the mark, from what I heard. Even if you like the film, a lot of people have said it missed the mark. And I mean,
they should have just filmed what's in the comic. Just film that.
Yeah, or even if they were going to do the Batgirl storyline, maybe do a storyline where it's sort of like tacking, because I'm pretty sure there's loosely based that it leads to the death of Robin, doesn't it, or something like that, if I remember right. Like, as in, like, it hits back to the death of Robin, I think. Like,
I think they reference it, yeah.
Yeah, but what they could have done like maybe Batman being extra protective over her because of the loss of Robin. You know what I mean? And then shown that, and then she gets shot, and then it would sort of add a little bit more, like tragedy to it.
Well, it wasn't. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't a Barbara Gordon story. It's all about the Joker and Batman, and it's really about the Joker mostly. So I don't know why they insert all this Barbara Gordon stuff in it. She's in it because the Joker's an arsehole and psychotic, and he shoots her to drive Jim Gordon insane.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a weird one.
Yeah, from what I've heard, the people have said it's not a bad movie. All right, some people have said it's a really good movie when it's The Killing Joke. But that first, like you say, however long, half hour or whatever, they said was just kind of, it didn't ruin the film, but it just didn't add to it, It was just like, well,
yeah,
that's there. And then they had to add the controversial sex scene between...
I did not see that. I would have laughed out loud if I'd seen that. That is weird that they did that.
Yeah, DC fans worldwide crying over that one. Oh, you fucked me childhood, you fucking pricks. Yeah. Fuck you, DC, you bunch of cunts. I can just imagine it now. But it's funny because everyone went all batshit crazy over Affleck's Batman killing a few terrorists on the odd occasion, and then Batman just molested Batgirl, and everyone's like, "But it's still a decent film. It's still a decent film. Batman's a pedophile, but it's okay." I don't know. I don't give a shit anymore. I've sort of got to the point now where I'm just like, I'll watch it and make my own mind up,
Yeah, that's good. I watched the Ultimate Edition of Batman vs Superman last week, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. You enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I think it's better than the theatrical. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the theatrical and the ultimate cut. Like I said, I'm a person that I totally got Batman v Superman. And I think yes, it's a long film and there's a lot to take. And on first viewing, if you watch, my dad watched the ultimate cut on first viewing, and it was a lot for him to take in.
Yeah.
He enjoyed it for the most part. He just said because it's a long film, he just says the pacing here and there was a bit here, there, everywhere. But he says as far as the film goes, it wasn't a bad film by any stretch.
No.
But he wants to watch it again as well, you know. But yeah, I enjoyed the.
I don't think I still don't like Jesse Eisenberg. I don't know why he was giving ladies jars of piss. And I didn't like the Martha thing either. I still don't like that.
I quite liked the Martha scene. I dig that scene. I thought that was quite a well put together scene, because it's not because the moms have the same name. It's because the reason Superman says Martha, and it pretty much shows a little bit more of that in the ultimate cut, is that he researches, because he twigs that obviously Batman is Bruce Wayne, and researches it and realizes why he is the way he is, you know, and the loss of his mother. And the one thing that Superman can do is stop him, is to say that. If he just said my mother, he may not have done it, but he said Martha. And what that did is that was to stop Batman and to get into Bruce Wayne's head. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And sort of like that. But I like that scene. I genuinely, when I watched it for the first time, not knowing any criticisms about the film, I thought that scene was very well done. And yeah, I like that movie. Like I said, I like the whole film as a general thing. You know, I like it. I mean, it's like Man of Steel. Man of Steel is a movie that got mixed reception for some reason. Now, I'm somebody that doesn't particularly like Superman. I'm not like a lover of Superman. I think he's a very
I thought Man of Steel was better, a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Man of Steel a lot, but like I said.
What do you think of the trailer for the or the clip they showed for the first Justice League?
Yeah, quite liked it. I thought it was good. I was a little bit frightened at first. I was like, oh, please do not become like a fucking joke fest, you know. Especially when you're coming off the back of Batman v Superman, but it doesn't seem like they're going that way. It seems they've still got that serious tone in there. It looks good, you know. It looks good. Whether it'll be as good as Batman v Superman for me, I don't know. That'll be, obviously I'll decide that when it comes out. But for so far, it looks pretty good, you know.
Yeah, I don't know why didn't they have Green Lantern in there?
I don't know. There is in the pipeline. There is a Green Lantern Corps film coming out, but they're not anywhere near happy with it yet to push it out. So they said they just want to work on that for some time, you know. But yeah,
that's weird. We've got Suicide Squad, and then the next one is the Wonder Woman film, isn't it?
Yeah, Wonder Woman, then Justice League. So
yeah, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Justice League. Maybe they'll do an Aquaman standalone. I don't know. And
yes,
then
they're doing an Aquaman standalone. They're doing a Flash standalone, a Batman standalone, a Wonder Woman standalone, obviously. So yeah, they are doing them all. I'm not too sure about a Cyborg standalone. Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, like I say, I'm pumped. Like I say, so far DCEU with Man of Steel. Loved Man of Steel. I don't usually like Superman, but I like that movie. and I really liked Batman v Superman. I think they both. I mean, you got to admit, for 2 movies in, they've done a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think their first 2 movies are stronger than Marvel's first 2 movies, but that's just my opinion. You know, I really like Batman v Superman. I love them. Love that movie. I love how they handled Batman in it, made him, not perfect. And I just like some of the issues they tackled with it. I mean, I'm not much for like I don't hate him, but I don't get the Christopher Reeve Superman, and it's not like I don't nothing to do with Christopher Reeve himself. It's just like the whole happy sunshine, sort of type Superman just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
A little too cheesy, and I just quite like a conflicted Superman. It's what makes him more relatable, compared to that, which is cool. I dug that, and Man of Steel did a good job of telling that story, and Batman v Superman as well. It showed a Superman that's trying to fit in the world, and what's great about it is through all that hate, he still does the right thing. He still saves the people that are hating on him and proves them wrong. He helps Batman redeem himself. He redeems Batman and proves himself to Batman that he's not the monster that he thought he was. And then he sacrifices his life and a possible future with Lois Lane in his mind to save the people, the same fuckers that are hating him, And then it's not until he's dead everybody realizes what type of man he was. And I just thought that was cool because, he's a hero. He doesn't need to see. It doesn't matter what they think of him. He's doing the right thing, And I dug that about the film, So I think when he comes back in Justice League, the humanity will be like, fuck yeah, Superman's back. You know what I mean? I think it'll be a pretty good comeback. And like I said, I love. I mean, I know you like BVS as well. And like I said, I loved it. It's my favorite movie of this year. I think that. Say Batman v Superman is my favorite movie of this year, and 10 Cloverfield Lane. If you haven't seen that, definitely.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that's another cracking film.
Yeah, you're right. The Wonder Woman is June next year.
Yeah.
Justice League Part 1 is November next year. Then they're doing Flash. They're doing Aquaman and Batman are all happening in 2018. And they reckon they're doing Shazam. 2019 is Justice League Part 2. And surely they'll do another Superman. Wouldn't they? They want to get another standalone Superman film out of Henry Cavill, won't they?
Yeah, I assume so. And also,
although that would be 5 films. Oh no, 4, because he's not going to be in the first Justice League.
No, he is. He is going to be in it. They reckon he is going to be in it.
Oh, he won't be in it much, though. He'll just turn up at the end, surely.
I don't know. I mean, depends.
Because he's dead, isn't he? He's dead at the end of Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see. I mean, I reckon there's going to be cameos of each characters in different movies because there's rumors going around that, apparently the director said, I'm pretty sure, that Barry Allen, Ezra Miller, is going to be in Suicide Squad as a cameo.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So they said, look out, it'll be at the sort of closer to the start of the movie. So
Suicide Squad's going to be great.
Yeah, I wasn't sold on it at first. I'll be totally honest. I didn't. The trailers did nothing for me. I thought it looked pretty shit actually from the get-go. But the last trailer they did was pretty good. I like
Yeah,
that.
put it on. Put it on. That Hall H one was amazing. The one that you did for Comic Con was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's going to be awesome. I might go and see it this week, I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll be definitely checking it out. It should be a good time. Do you think you'll be getting any collectibles from a Batman v Superman, Charlie, and anything like that, or DC related?
Nah, I do like that armored Batman, just because the suit looks kick-ass.
Yeah.
But no, not enough. Not enough of a fan to want to put down the money for the collectibles. Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I've got two Batman statues that are bust, so that's enough.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no, I think a lot of it is with you as well. You're more of an 80s guy, aren't you? Like the older stuff.
Yeah, hardcore 80s stuff. And yeah, the ones that I've got my eye on are the Rocky 2, which Helmy is going to hold on to for me, and I'll buy that off him.
Oh, okay.
Because he wants to put that money towards, I think, getting a Slimer. He wants to get a full scale.
Oh, okay.
And the other one I want to get, which is actually it's a pretty cheap one, is the Caesar that the Pop Culture Shock did for for Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah.
Are they still doing that? Oh, no, that was a different one, wasn't it? That was it. What was the one that you wanted that they cancelled?
Oh, they cancelled. There he is. They cancelled Dr. Zaius.
Oh.
Not Dr. Zaius. They cancelled General Ursus.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, that thing was fantastic. This he just did enough pre-orders, and it was a huge piece. But that would have been easy, because I'm all about classic apes. The new apes are very good, but they don't have the feel of the 60s, 70s apes.
Yeah.
They're just more fun. The old apes are just more fun to look at.
Yeah.
They get these cool uniforms and they talk and all of that stuff. They're just a lot more fun. The new ape, it's sort of like what they did with the old Batman and
yeah,
and new Batman. Changing from like 1989 Batman to like Batman Begins. It's that sort of a change, sort of a bit more fun and maybe a little bit camp and and then change it to sort of more realistic.
Yeah.
Hey.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Mark, how are you, mate?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
I was listening to Ryan describe, the two Superman films and I was thinking to myself, boy, they really, it really does. The way Ryan explained it, I could really see the whole space Jesus angle that they were going for there, and what they're basically doing then with the Suicide Squad, unless you guys don't want me to tell you, is they're almost doing a sort of Superman's not there, but he would be useless. As far as I know, Superman is useless with magical characters. Like he can't really fight magic directly. But but basically, you know, it's kind of like not the devil, but you know what I mean. Kind of they're fighting a greater evil trying to manifest itself, which
Yeah.
you know, if Superman directly space Jesus, then Amanda Waller is the devil, or the people what she's sending them to fight. If you know whether you want to know it or not, I won't say anything unless you guys want to know. Is definitely evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, hey, Mark, are you trying to tell us something? Have you seen the movie?
Oh, I haven't. I haven't,
Oh.
but I did from reading different things, and also you could kind of figure out from looking at the various trailers, get an idea of who the villain may or may not be, and then from reading things about it, it's been confirmed. So
Isn't it?
even if you go to IMDb and you look at the cast list, and if you look at it kind of gives it away in a way. I mean,
okay.
I had a feeling it was Goliath. Is it Goliath?
I don't know if it's Goliath because I don't know what the I don't know the nature of the character of Goliath. But I don't know if it's something you guys want me to tell you or not, because quite honestly, if it's true, it could be considered a major spoiler, and I don't want to ruin anything for you guys if you don't want to know.
Oh, what do you reckon, Charlie?
So it's up to you guys, you know.
I reckon leave it, because I'm going to go and see it pretty soon.
It's you and Charlie have to decide.
Oh, Mark, while you're here, I think it'd be great to have you.
It has to be unanimous between.
Yeah. By the way, Mark, because we've just been talking about it, and we just wanted
Charlie
to
said no. I just want to make sure. Charlie, you said no.
Don't say who it is, mate.
Okay, no, I won't. I won't say anything. No problem. No problem at all.
No.
Besides, it's you know, I'm still gonna go see it in the movies. You know what I mean? I still want to see it. You know.
Yeah.
So I apologize for interrupting, Ryan.
Oh, that's no problem. I was just going to ask you, Mark, while we were on the topic of it, Charlie's just shared his thoughts about the Killing Joke, the animated film. I've not seen it yet, so Charlie's basically pitched it as bullsack out of 10. They were his words. And we're just wondering if we could get your thoughts on it now. You said you've seen it in...
I would give it a little bit more of a taint out of 10, but you know, that's just me. You know, that's the main problems with the movie is that they created this, they padded it with a totally, well, not totally unrelated, but largely unrelated storyline for the sake of somehow. I don't really know why they really did it, but they basically it begins with a voiceover from Batgirl, and she basically the things that occur basically is that she has a person who is obsessed with her, and Batman warns her that that's not a good thing to have. I don't want you fighting this guy, because he knows from having the Joker being obsessed with him how dangerous it could be, but she's impetuous, okay? And basically, when that storyline is over, the Killing Joke from the comic book pretty much begins. But here's the problem. The Joker, she's kind of a, if you've, well, okay, Charlie's seen it, and you've read the book, Ryan. The Joker is not obsessed with Batman. He's obsessed with trying to, you know, it's kind of like what they used for Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Trying to somebody who is seemingly above, reproach down to the Joker's level to bring a point.
Yeah.
It really didn't, the whole Batgirl storyline, it's tragic what happens to her, but she has no real connection to the storyline other than the fact that she's part of the uses upon Gordon. So if anything, if I were them, now that I'm thinking about it, they needed to pad the little intro and doing it from Gordon's point of view, since he's the one that gets abducted by the Joker and tortured, and not from Batgirl's point of view, since she's not really in the story for most of the Joker part, for the Killing Joke part.
Yeah.
I like the ending, as far as the two sharing a laugh. I found that, but other than that, I would have to agree. I give it a taint out of 10. It's like different. It's two different movies that don't really belong with each other, and I think they would have been better off doing it that way, the way I explained it, or just a straight adaptation and not worrying about how long it is, because it's a beloved story, and a lot of people don't like it. From what I've read in some of the statue groups, anyway, from people who've said it, I haven't really read one person. But have you seen it, Ryan?
No, I have not seen it yet. I'm planning on getting it and watching it. So I'll go in with an open mind and see it for myself. But
well, you should definitely, because I know you're gonna love it anyway. You're gonna like it. I mean, the Joker parts are cool, but like the other stuff, I mean, it's not that they didn't capture one part of the story, it's that they messed it up by trying to put all this fattener in there that it didn't need, and the approach was totally wrong, and that's why, and that could ruin a movie sometimes, it's just kind of like, have you ever seen them? I mean, how we're all are, basically watching movies and television and commenting on it is basically a form of backseat driving, only except we're really like backseat directors. So when you think about, haven't we all seen movies that we've liked parts of or we liked, but we think to ourselves after the fact, I would have done it this way, and I think it would have worked better this way. And it, you know what I mean? Haven't we all done that? TV shows,
Definitely.
I mean, that's how I see it personally, But it's a disappointment, to be sure. I mean, from my point of view, I was expecting it to be something bigger than it was, which is probably a side effect of the hype. But at the same time, after seeing so many statues and knowing so much about the story over the years, it really. It just may be something that doesn't translate well directly into a cartoon. But then again, I still think that it could have been done better. It could have done better. It could have been done better, and they shouldn't have made it longer. They should have cut it.
Yeah. So
not long. Should have been cut. Like the. I was just thinking about the South Park movie. This is an example of more is not better. That's basically how I see it.
Yeah. So Mark, I know you and me, we're both big fans of the DC animated films, and I know you yourself, you hold them up quite to a high standard as well. You say out of all things with DC, it's one of the things they excel in the animated feature films. So would you say this is a bit of a definite?
The animated films are way better than the Marvel animated films.
Yeah.
Would you say then this is
the 1990s Marvel TV?
Ooh, hang on.
Chop.
So yeah.
I'm sorry,
would you
Ryan.
say?
I missed that.
It's all right. So would you say that the Killing Joke is a quite a step down then from the recent bunch of films that they've released from the DC animated stuff?
No, because the quality of the actual, and the film itself. I mean, the cinematic quality of it, and the artwork and everything else is spot on to everything that's been done. I mean, I still prefer Bruce Timm's animated series look more so than what they have now. But all these cartoons are made, in Japan. In terms of you could see the anime influence when
Yeah.
you see how these characters are interpreted. So you can't really expect the streamlined look that you got in the 1990s. But
Yeah.
but as far as the movie, the cartoon is, the quality is equal to anything that's come before. It's just the storytelling that they they fucked it up. They messed up the storytelling on it because of that overly long prologue. And the direction that they took with it. They um they should have done it differently, but maybe they felt, well, I mean, I think they kind of look at things and they try to, they, in the marketing department, they figure, okay, this movie's going to go to, a large audience that's going to include a lot of, old kids and young kids alike, if so to speak. So, they're probably thinking to themselves, also, who are young people going to relate to more, Batman and Batgirl, or Batman and Alfred? Not, I was just saying Batman and Alfred, Batman and Gordon. And since Gordon in this interpretation is a much older man, arguably older than Bruce Wayne even, I guess they thought to themselves, look, we already have Batgirl in the story, so we might as well tell it from her point of view, except even that doesn't work, because as soon as she's shot, and she's not in the story, like, she's almost like, again, she feels like a tacked on character that they really should have done it from if they wanted to pad it, it really should have been Gordon's point of view. Cut out the entire elongated, prologue. They could have just done an opening action sequence that could have gotten, just to get you in there, like an Indiana Jones-esque action sequence, and then get on with the story, tell it from point of view, and then go right through to the Joker and everything else, because there's the stuff is there. It's just, it's like you can get to the same destination, and there's the easy road and there's the hard road. They chose a harder road to get to the same destination than they had to, and I think it was more so out of marketing reasons, probably, rather than creative reasons. I mean, well, they're both, actually, marketing can be creative, but behind the making of it, visions were based in part, even unconsciously, by marketing the film, and by having Batgirl, be the storyteller, even though she kind of disappears for like half the movie. And then it's kind of, and there's absolutely nothing. I mean, don't get me wrong, but she obviously, no spoiler here, Oracle at the end, or the beginnings of Oracle, but the way they make it seem like, oh joy, she's found a new purpose and whatever. But the story is just kind of like, it's a very dour story that sometimes tacking on a false happy ending. Like, it's kind of like, you know, like it's like with the new Batman movie, Batman v Superman. If
Yeah.
you were to go back, no matter what you do, because of the direction Snyder chose and how they chose to direct it, you can't make that movie anything like the Christopher Reeve movies because the places have been set, and while you could have had they could like obviously there's going to be a lot more humor in Suicide Squad,
Yeah.
but at the same time they they could have the movie. I'm just saying that adding on a false happy ending to the killing almost lessened the impact of the poignancy of the ending, which I think is the strongest part of the movie. With but that scene shared between Joker and Batman, and all that to me, because what they really are they're almost like they are two adversaries that have grown to respect each other over time, and in a sense,
Yeah.
the offer given and the fact that Joker can't accept it, and it's not out of hate or anything, he cannot accept it. They're almost like star-crossed lovers, even though they're not lovers. They're like but they are star-crossed. They are two people who are basically like as the Joker will put it, they each had a horrible day in their lives that changed them.
Yeah.
But the direction they chose, or the direction that came upon them, I mean, granted, if Batman had been, if young Bruce bleached and his hair turned green, he probably would have been a very different Batman than he is today.
Yeah.
But the net. I mean, they came from two different worlds. The age difference would have had kids are more resilient in general. So the Joker was already an adult when he became the Joker. Batman, essentially, Bruce Wayne's road to Batman, and the fact, basically, that's what built him up into Batman, and how he coped with it. And the only difference between one or the other is, at least Bruce had money and Alfred as a support group, whereas the Joker had nobody. He lost everything, and he was already, a young adult at least. He was in his 20s. So just think. I mean, imagine you just lose all that like he did, including your human. Essentially. And I'm sorry for getting all uber serious on it, but I'm just thinking of these are the thoughts that occur to me when I think about it. So it's kind of like I mean, basically the underlying theme also deals with how and we are also dealing with two people who are, well, while the Joker went over the edge a long time ago, you could describe at that moment at the end as two borderline personalities. I mean, the Killing Joke could also be reference to the whole absurdity of it. An adult man dressed as a bat, and another adult man who's dressed as a clown, and the clown, it's almost like a joke in itself. Like, hey, did you hear the one about the man dressed as a bat and the clown? In the old abandoned, what happened at the old abandoned amusement park? It reads like a joke. I just wish I had a punchline for it, but if Christ, people interpret the ending differently. They said, "Oh yeah," and then Batman probably killed him. It's like, no, I didn't get that at all from that. That's ridiculous, because it would have gone totally, if Batman had just like laughed and just snapped his neck, even if it was a mercy killing, that it would have totally gone against what Gordon told him, and that's the other part of the thing is buy the book. You know what I mean? And this Batman is not a mass murderer. You know what I mean? And and the thing of the BVS Batman, it's not like the other Batmans didn't kill people. I mean, it was justified homicide, but there are quite a few people that Batman does kill, that the Keaton Batman kills in Batman, and he sets a man on fire. And so, I mean, it's not like we have never seen Batman, and also, Bale Batman leaves a man to die in a runaway train. So it's not. I mean, granted, these things are not exactly. They're more justifiable when you think of it, under the circumstances. But at the same time, I don't. The part that Batman killing people, that didn't really bother me, because it's not. Or, what actually does sound crazy the more I think about it is Superman. Superman is totally off the cuff. It's a little bit like consider this mercy. I mean, even when he goes to reason with them to save his mother, it's like, if I wanted to kill you, I would have. You know what I mean? It's like if I go up to Charlie and I say, "Hey, Charlie, I need your help." If I wasn't being honest with you.
You there, Mark? You still there, Charlie? You still there, Charlie?
Yeah, mate, still there.
Oh, that's all good. Okay. I thought we might have just had a bit of a disconnect with the connection with Mark. I don't know if,
yeah, I might have to jump off anyway, mate.
Right, yeah.
But I'll catch you next week.
Right, yeah. Well, if Mark comes back, we'll probably continue it on with Mark. Hopefully, all being well. And
all right, mate.
Good having you on, Charlie. And I'll see you next week.
Definitely, man. Next week.
Yeah. And see you, Charlie. Right, yeah. So, everyone, guys, it's just me at the moment. Hopefully, Mark will be back, all being well, with this. But going on the topic of Mark, of what he was saying about Batman killing and stuff and all that with in BVS and just Batman. Oh, here we are. Hello, Mark. I was just gonna share my thoughts, Mark, about the whole Batman killing thing, and so the whole thing with that, I think with Batman, I have a hard time with some people. I'm sure you get it yourself as well, Mark, where you just sort of roll your eyes. But when the people say Batman's the world's greatest detective, he would never do that. He'll never make a mistake. He always knows what's the right thing to do. And at the end of the day, like it or not, Batman is a fucked up individual. He's a nut job, just like anybody else. He dresses up in the Batsuit at night and goes out and fights people. You know what I mean? He's not wired.
The reason why people relate to Batman more than Superman is because Batman, he does make mistakes.
Yeah, that's it. And I think sometimes, like, so when you say Batman killing, Batman as a character that didn't want to kill.
I have no problem with him killing people. I actually like it because, it's kind of like, oh, bullshit, this guy killed 100 people and you're gonna just let him walk? You know what I mean? Don't get me. It's human nature to want to see the bad guy get punished.
Yeah.
What Batman? That's noble that he doesn't go further than he does. But fact that he has killed people in these movies, that doesn't bother me at all. Like I said before, Keaton, although it's more justifiable because he does it in self-defense, Keaton Batman kills people. He throws down a. I'm not even talking about the Joker, but there's the guy when they're fighting at the bell tower, and that guy falls down.
Yep.
Then there's the martial arts guy that attacks him, and to this day, I still don't know what exactly he did, but it looked like he like shot a knife into his crotch or something when they leave.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Hello? Okay, we froze.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I said?
Yeah, you're on about when you shot the knife into his crotch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that's what happened. I don't really know. They obviously, it looks that way. But,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I don't really know what happened to him. But either way, I can't imagine anybody surviving from that. You know what I mean?
Look,
I mean, even in being punctured by something sharp, if you get hit in the balls hard enough, it'll kill you.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah. I think for me,
you know, the guy was flying with one leg sticking out. You know, Batman had his arm out the way he did. I mean, even if he had no knife, then he could just. So either way, what I'm trying to say is that that's more justifiable. But the fact that in the second, he's really doing is blowing circus flame, you know, through, you know, we know what like a fire breather or whatever that is.
Yeah.
The Batmobile to set him on fire.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more like he didn't have to do it. But come on, it's a movie and it happened. Liked it. So I don't have any problem with him finding a bunch of guys. But like ultimately, Batman is also. This is an older Batman too, so he's kind of not gonna, you know. He's been around the block. He's still pissed off about, you know, the death of Robin, and the bottom line is that he already is a very noble man. I mean, 90% of the time, doesn't matter. You know, I think probably what I think most people, I mean, idea was the branding. I never seen that before in a Batman movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, because I don't really think he needs, because the myth of Batman, which was kind of part of what the Nolan films went into, the whole idea of hitting this mythology about you the way Ra's al Ghul did, you know, when Dukat teaches him.
Yeah.
You know, in that version, you could argue that Batman learned to be a crime fighter partially from a Sith Lord. You know what I mean? From the opposite Qui-Gon Jinn in Star Wars, you know, just because of Liam Neeson being in the movie. But, you know, but even in that movie, if you notice, Liam Neeson, he never lies to him. It's just the approach, whatever, like, his approach to maintaining order is by creating, and because, you know, so basically, again, the noble thing about Batman is Batman believes that one man can make a difference, and, you know, I can, you know, or two men or more when you think about his support group, his team, but Ra's al Ghul's got an army of people, and yet his whole goal is, and his daughter's the same way, is, you know, the only way people are going to learn is by giving them the stick, whereas Batman believes one person can make a difference, and it's almost like a give people hope. Inherently, people are good. The opposite, the Ra's al Ghul would say probably in the movie, people are inherently need to be led toward good, and the only thing that works is, so one guy rules by fear, the other one rules by hope. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I think that's it. You know, and it's like in BVS as well. The Batman that I knew of Ben Affleck in that, I never felt like he was a guy that was always killed, or even in the film, he didn't. His intentions when he went out on the streets at night was never to go and kill somebody. It was to put them down. But it was like if they got in the way, and there was no other way around it, and you cross, you know, if there's no other way around it, and I've got to take you out, then it's fair. But you know, it's open season, and I was totally fine with that.
But even then, you know, I mean,
yeah. What are you going to say then, Mark? Can you hear me, mate?
I can hear you. It's just you break up. It's, you know, it's not Google's fault. You know, the nature of the internet and
Yes.
you know, I mean, I'm using a little handheld device to talk to.
Yeah. No problem. Uh, yeah, but you know, like saying in BV, are you still there, Mark? Can you hear me? Oh, looks like we're having a few technical difficulties again, guys. Looks like it, Mark. But well, Mark is sort of frozen at the moment until he comes back again. The whole thing with Batman for me, especially the dark, like the BVS Batman, was that he never came across the guy who intentionally killed people in the, like, I'm going out to kill people. It was, if you get in the way, you cross the line, you get in the line of fire, and you get caught up in it, then tough shit. And that was the sort of Batman that he was in that film. Oh, there we are, Mark, you're back. It's all good. But yeah, so Batman in the BVS, like I say, he's that sort of guy that doesn't, past that point, he's seen what he's done, and again, he's lost people. And again, if you think about it, the Joker is the person who kills Jason Todd in the comics. And if you think about it, Batman beats himself up in Batman v Superman because of that loss. Now, the reason that Robin is dead,
He's always beating himself up.
He's always beating himself up, but for this one, he's beating
Even
himself.
young Bruce Wayne in Gotham is
Yes.
basic. You know, even young Bruce Wayne in Gotham is incredibly disciplined upon himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. And he blames himself every day, Batman and BVS, for if the Joker is who's killed him, which it kind of looks like it if you think about it. You know, the one thing he never does or did was kill the Joker. He never took him out, and him.
Well,
there's a really good one.
Yeah. In Batman, he killed the Joker. I mean,
yeah, in that.
I mean, with the grappling hook, tried to prevent him from escaping. Anyway, and then you could say, well, the Joker, it was the Joker's. It's kind of similar to in Batman Forever when he throws all the coins for Two-Face out.
Yeah.
Two-Face was going to try and obsessively go for the coins, which would then cause him to fall to a watery grave. No, I mean, just for the sake of that movie alone, then the next shot is like a Robin with like an almost, I don't know if carnal would be the right word, but it's almost like he's eating in that guy's demise.
Yeah.
You know, in a sense, Batman took revenge for him, spared him having to kill him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I totally get that.
But at the same, I mean, it's a similar thing. But again, I don't consider. I mean, in both cases, it wasn't cold-blooded, though. It was. I mean,
yeah,
he was trying to prevent them from escaping, and they were face would have killed them or killed one of them, and they were trapped, and he thought on his feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you've probably seen it, but The Dark Knight Returns, the comic. There's in the comic he says it, and in the film he says it as well. He says to the Joker in that final fight, he says, all those people I murdered, and because I let you live, you know what I mean? All the people I murdered, and I still let you live. And basically, what in that film and in that comic, that storyline, I mean, Batman's a lot older than that. He's like 60 in that, but he's basically saying is all those years, all those people that have died, and if only I'd have killed you from the start, if I'd have took you out, all those people would have lived, you know? It's like some rules in some cases are meant to be broken. There was no way of reasoning with the Joker. Joker is a man that you can't reason with. He is just enough to.
Are you saying that? I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Go on. What you're saying?
I did. You broke up at the last part.
Oh.
But I'm just gonna try and you could tell me if I got the gist of it. Basically, was he saying signs of, if I killed you from the beginning, a lot of people may have survived, you know, maybe still alive because of you? Because, because basically the Joker's, you know, deadly. Is that what you're saying?
Basically it. Because he would, you know, and that's it. The Joker, it's like in The Dark Knight Returns. The Dark Knight Returns, he starts off, he's like a vegetable. He's just he's all drugged up in an asylum. And then he gets out, and in that short period of time, he kills, in the comic, he gets like this candy floss and he poisons it and hands it out to all these school kids and murders them all. In front of their parents, all the parents just watch their kids drop dead, and then he runs down. He does
a lot of bad things, basically.
Yeah, and then he runs down like one of those love canals with all those people in, and as he's running through, he's just shooting everyone, even when he doesn't have to kill them to get out the way. He just shoots the shit out of all of them, and then in one bit he grabs a kid and uses him as a frigging hostage and like a meat shield, trying to get him against Batman. So in that bit, Batman's pretty much by that point. I mean, he's an old man in that as well. He's like 60 years old, but he's like, I'm done with this shit now. There's no more. There's not no other way around it. And people keep going, oh, Batman didn't technically kill the Joker because the Joker finishes himself off. But Batman snaps Joker's neck. There's no other way to look at it in that comic.
You know, I don't know. Like I have a cartoon version of the movie, which the Joker, of the Dark Knight Returns. I didn't see the second half.
Oh, okay.
I do want to ask you this because I remember I've never believe it or read it, you know.
Yeah.
But I remember my friend telling me about it when it came out. I wanted to ask you, die? Like, doesn't he kind of break his own neck? Like he dies.
what he does is Batman. He's in a fight with Batman. It's a huge fight. Joker pretty much shivs him, like stabs like Batman a bunch of times, and then Batman sort of loses his shit in the moment of the fight, and basically grabs the Joker and snaps his neck, and the Joker pretty much he's just paralyzed more or less from here down. He can't do anything. And he says to him, he goes.
So he breaks his neck.
Yeah.
Still alive.
He breaks his
after
neck.
the fact, and then he died.
Yeah, he breaks his neck and dies, and then he says to him, he goes, "I've won. I made you do it." He goes, "I made you cross that line of not killing." Because by that point, once you've snapped his neck, he ain't got much, life to live now. And he just says, "See you in hell," and starts.
Well, it all depends. There have been people that have survived broken necks, but yeah, usually it's a death sentence. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. The point is, Batman's intent was to take him out in that moment. You know what I mean? He himself snapped his neck, and then the Joker says to him, "See you in hell." And then starts laughing, and then he turns his head just that little bit more, and it snaps it, and then he just dies.
Yeah.
And then after he fights him, the craziest thing is he walks over to him. Batman does, sits next to his body, and just looks at him after he's killed him. That's one of the last things he does to the Joker, and then as a diversion to get away from the cops because the cops are after him, he puts like a landmine, like explosive firebomb on the Joker's body and basically sets his body on fire, blows him up and sets him on fire to finish him off, but also to distract him from the police and that and get out.
Well, that's kind of like that could be looked. That's almost like giving him a funeral.
Yeah.
A bizarre, like a Viking funeral.
Yeah, it's a bizarre scene, very powerful scene. You know what I mean?
I mean, even if he probably did it to ensure that he's indeed dead and not brought back to life, or
yeah,
I guess it's open to. I mean, it depends. I mean, I'm probably wrong about that part with the Viking funeral idea, but. I'm kind when it comes to the ending of that story, like you explained it beautifully. So my friend was right with the breaking of the neck part at the end. That it's the Joker who, in a sense, gives himself the killing blow. But I have to see the movie about the actual disposal of the body. I mean, this is becoming like, instead of that, this has become like Batman, gruesome detective, chat, whatever, but that's okay about these things.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I think as an overall story, Mark, I think you'll find anyway. I think The Dark Knight Returns is a better story than The Killing Joke, and in some ways,
it's good.
Darker, in some ways.
Well, the story in The Killing Joke is very good. It's just the approach of the movie.
Yeah.
Like I said before, they could have done it better, but The Killing Joke, the parts of the cartoon that are actually in The Killing Joke, it seems. I haven't read I know the story. I looked it up after I saw it. I looked it up on Wikipedia. I saw whether I got a gist for where they changed things or not changed things, because I wanted to know, did The Killing Joke have this long opening actor directly? And I think that the story itself is very poignant. I like The Killing Joke as a story. I think that part of the cartoon more, and probably I just think that they would have appreciated a more, I think they would have appreciated a shorter straight, a longer one. That's all. An adaptation that feels padded because of the way they did it. You know, could have been done better, but we already covered that. All of those stories, The Dark Knight Returns, The Killing Joke, those are iconic stories. I mean, they may not be officially canon, if there is such a thing anymore, when it comes. But they are nevertheless so influential that have been integrated into the incarnations and the films and whatnot, that they cannot they I guess you could say they exist as monoliths that are, you know, the immovable, like immovable monoliths that people could, you know, they're beacons. You cannot. They're part of they're as those stories are as part of the mythos as the origins of Batman himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
it's a good.
and you know, and so stories are, you know, I mean, I've read some, like I remember Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah.
And I also remember Arkham Mysterious Earth, I think it was the subtitle. Yeah. You know, now did you hear about what the actual Batman movie may be like?
Yes, movie I've heard it's going to be set in Arkham Asylum.
It's going to be sort of like the video game and The Raid.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think it's a good way to introduce the villains as well. Yeah, so I think it's definitely a good way, Mark, to introduce the villains. You know what I mean?
Well, that's true. I think it's a good way to make a very if they want to go for it, like a Batman movie that's filled with things you can do there to explore his psyche stories and whatnot. Even if it is a straight up action flick, you know, that's which I think The Raid is a similar. Isn't that a movie that where somebody's trying to get somebody else? And even Judge Dredd, the one with Carl Urban, you know, him having to fight his way with the protege all the way up that big, you know, building block. The reality is that these are fantastic ways to bring Batman. You know, they make for great stories. You know, they great action pictures. You know, I mean, it's one of the things that when RoboCop, totally different, but I consider RoboCop, when I saw it, I thought of it as like, wow, this is like a comic book, like a hero origin story. What the original RoboCop was, part of it was, I like the black humor, you know, the dark humor, the over the top violence, and I think Clarence Barker, as played by Kurtwood Smith, was a fantastic villain. And all the side villains had a bit of character to them, and even the guy played by Brian. Actually, I don't even know his name off the top of my head, but the Dick Jones character, he played in Total Recall. These are all villains. These are all good villains, and you know, and Dan O'Hurley, he is the big head of the company. Is morally ambiguous, you know. It was a good, you know. It's just that first movie, RoboCop. They have not equaled it. As a vision, they tried in a remake and whatever. That first RoboCop,
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best movies one of the best comic book movies in a way that's not a comic book movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As far as, you know, the action and just the whole thing. Because Alex Murphy is kind of like, you know, he does kind of go through. He has an origin, and at the end, there's some hope for his, you know, for his humanity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he sequel or anything that would have just, like, if you didn't, like, if it just ended with him saying Murphy to the head of the thing, well, I'm sure there would have been lots of questions and stuff. I think the movie would be looked on even higher than it
Yeah.
is today, because of the fact that a lot of people have, you know, because the sequels and remakes and TV movies and TV series, miniseries, whatever you want to call them, that have happened post RoboCop have all been inferior to the original.
Yeah. I liked, believe it or not, I've watched all of the RoboCop movies, even the dog shit third one. And I like the first one. The second one is like that for me. It's kind of like iffy. It can go either way. Then the third one's a pile of shit.
Yeah.
But I quite like. I tell you what, I was surprised. I didn't expect it, Mark. It was one of them I didn't expect. You know, you get those pleasant surprises. But I actually enjoyed the remake. I thought it was a good enough remake. You know, which is crazy.
It was a better. The remake was, I would, for me personally, the remake worked out better than I would have expected it to.
Yeah.
But you know, but I mean, I think, would you agree with me that the original is still the best?
Um.
Do you think the remake surpassed the original?
For me, it's a bit of. I like the original movie, but my only gripe with RoboCop as a character is, like I said, it's not necessarily the film; it's RoboCop himself. I just get pissed off that he can easily, like, you could push him over and then he's on his back and he can do nothing. You know what I mean? This super soldier robot thing.
I know you should say, how's he going to get up?
Yeah, and the only thing I liked more about the remake was the fact that he looked practical. You know what I mean? He was very fast. He was efficient, more efficient than the original. But
yeah,
it's one of those.
I guess but you know, there were also like a matter of, like, you know, it's like this. You know how in the fills up an entire cave? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas your telephone is probably more powerful than the back computer from the 1960s television series.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that when you, in 1986, 87, when it came out in 87, but you know, they probably made it in 86, when they were making RoboCop, by the standards of that era, they probably felt, well, if we're going to sell a man as being the cyborg cop, nobody is going to, no one, you know, maybe they, and plus then they could sell certain gags like the thigh opening up and him taking the leg out of the thigh and then it closes up again, as being, you know, of selling the illusion that this is a robot guy. But then in 2000, whatever, 2012, 2013, whenever the remake came out, there, of course, it's kind of like we're living in the era of the iPhone. So, you know, they slick up. And also, you know, at a time post, well, like, you know, RoboCop is made in America in the original, but in the remake, he's made in China. He's designed in him. He's like an Apple computer. They designed him in America, but they actually built the parts in China. So I mean, it's definitely more reflect the remake is reflective of the modern era in which it was. He's
Yeah.
thinner and whatever, and why the original was bulkier. Because you could say the same thing as, like, you ever seen movies like Forbidden Planet and you see the big road
Yeah.
equated compared to the things that we've seen since. But then sometimes these creations, even like the Daleks, even in Doctor Who,
Yeah.
there's something iconic about the design that, I mean, it's different. Sometimes you don't necessarily need to go back to the drawing board and redesign something completely. Sometimes you could just present the variation, and it doesn't necessarily need to be streamlined to be believable. But I think that they streamlined RoboCop for this new movie partially because it's harder to, they don't need, you don't necessarily, you don't need a bigger suit to sell the idea in a CGI and all this other stuff. And also in a world where like your telephone is more powerful than all the computers that people had in the 1980s. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
I mean, it reflects that time period. It
Yeah.
reflects that, like I said, he's made in China, whereas in the original he was made in Detroit. It's a they're very reflective of their, like all movies, they're reflective of the time in which they were made.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
It's I
Nolan
think
Batman. I'm sorry, I know I talk too much, but I just want to say this: Nolan Batman. You see how his Gotham City is much more like realistic looking.
yeah.
I mean, but it doesn't feel like a city, and it doesn't feel like. I mean,
Yeah.
the Tim Burton one is much more stylized
Yeah.
compared to the Nolan version.
Definitely.
And part of that has to do with the time. Because if you look at also a lot of the things that came out, the more popular things that come out in the 2000s, like on television, Battlestar Galactica, the remake series,
Yeah.
had no aliens in it. Like a lot sometimes, like in the 90s, people, a lot of sci-fi shows like Star Trek or whatever have always had aliens in it. But in the 2000s, with the exception of Farscape, a lot of sci-fi shows didn't really feature aliens in it because it just, the people that made these programs wanted to go for a more realistic or something that felt more real, fantastic.
Yeah.
And I think that's Nolan went for something more grounded in reality, and you could argue that the Galactica remake more grounded in a believable reality than the original was,
Yeah.
because the original did have like not that many, but it did have aliens. It was much more space both space op, but was much more space opera-y.
Yeah.
Right now we're like in like this decade is like the decade of the revival period. Like
Yeah.
everything is old is new again.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? They're doing a lot of that lately, digging up old franchises and then injecting new life into them, or not, one or the other. But yeah, there's a lot of that.
So I think Suicide Squad is gonna pull in is probably gonna be like, because they're disappointing as far as movies are concerned.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking the Suicide Squad is gonna be like the big, to be at least the Guardians of the Galaxy of this year. I think it's gonna be bigger though.
It could
I think
be.
it's
You
gonna
never
make.
know. I
Well, you
think
know,
it actually.
it's going to make a lot of money. I mean,
Yeah,
I think that it's going to make. It may break the Batman records. It could very well break that. It could even get very close to Captain America: Civil War. I mean,
yeah,
the people think about this. Who doesn't want to see the Joe? I mean, it all depends on how willing people are to see this story, but it does have a few things going for it. Whether you like him or not, no one can deny that Will Smith has charisma,
yeah. He does.
as an actor.
Yeah,
So
it's good.
he does sell a movie. But I think that Jennifer and I forgot the name, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, and just everything about it, and even the way they've marketed it in such a way that I think that the movie's got more going for it. I think the one thing that really hurt BVS was in the mark where they gave away too much in the trailers.
Yeah,
Like
I
if
get it.
they should have never shown Doomsday, or
Yeah,
anything like that in the trailers. That should have been a surprise. I mean, or not, how people would have reacted to it cannot be predicted. But I just think that I think one thing is certain. With from here on in, I think that now that the ice has been broken, I think extended universe films will be better received by their audiences, whether they're Marvel fans, DC fans, or not fans at all. I do think that the movies will get better as they go along because they're
yeah,
finding their way, and something that really they could have done in the 1990s if they wanted to, but back then nobody was thinking that way. So if anything, I think DC Extended Universe will hopefully only raise the bar so that both Marvel and DC will make better movies.
yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because um, Gotham is still one of the best shows on TV,
Yeah,
and that's coming back soon.
yeah. I'll have to finish off watching.
Although I wonder whether there's going to be a jump in time. Do you know about the season, by the way?
I think I heard season 3 is set like a couple of
Did you
months
finish
after
it?
the events. A couple of months after the events of season 2, if I'm correct. Because they can't time jump too much because you've got the kid
Because
who plays
I
Bruce.
think they hired a new person to play Poison Ivy.
Apparently, with her though, the reason they've used her is because apparently they wanted to make better use of the character, so they're changing her up, a different actress. But I don't know how they're working it in. I don't know if it's the one that they have now isn't the real one, just a similar name, or that she goes through some sort of weird transformation into this other character. But yeah, because it's like the kid that plays Bruce Wayne's still the same kid, and he ain't that much older. He's only 15, so they can't age all of them like that,
The Bruce Wayne kid is that they got that I've fantastic casting.
Yeah, he's a good little actor, isn't he?
Like Sean Pertwee as Alfred.
Yeah, good actor, Sean. Yeah, he's a good actor. He's very reminiscent to the Earth One Alfred. He's a very kick-ass Alfred, battle-hardened Alfred.
In a weird way, I think like. Do you think that? And I mean, maybe I'm wrong, okay? But it seems to me that whether he is kick-ass Alfred or not, that Alfred is old. It seems like Alfred. Well, first off, Alfred is well, he's but he also takes care of. I mean, he's in on Batman's secret and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's a lot. That's a big secret to hold.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people are not necessarily good at keeping secrets.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, he is a pretty. I mean, Alfred thinks on his feet. Like I was watching, like even in the 1960s television series, the things that Alfred would do sometimes to protect Batman's identity required split-second thinking. And then if you look at the Alfred in the Nolan films, I forgot his name, famous actor, obviously, but
Michael Caine.
that seems to definitely imply that he came from a background where he may have been, you know what I mean, like a year, like you said, Earth One type of Alfred, but he's an older man now. But when he because based on the things that he reveals about himself, and then and even though nothing has been said, the new Alfred in BVS also strikes me as a person that had a more, like if you told me that Alfred in one part of his career was a member of MI6 or MI5, I could almost believe it. And then maybe at some point he chose to retire and become, maybe he was. All I'm saying is that I could believe that Alfred definitely has some sort of training or some past life, not past life, past.
He's more than just a butler, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, when you think about it, he's kind of like the, if Robin is Alfred is a silent partner in a sense. He only speaks up when it's a matter of, he only speaks up to Batman when it's a moral, when Batman seeks his advice or guidance, when it's an extreme moral situation that he feels incredibly strong, like, look, you don't understand, you're acting impetuously type of thing. Or, well, pretty much, I mean, or does Alfred ever really Bruce Wayne, even when he disagrees, he always listens.
Yeah. Well, it's like in like the Gotham TV show, isn't it? When Bruce Wayne, he's a kid in that, but he's arrogant and he argues with him, but then he ends up. It's like that bit when in season 2 when he sends him off, he goes, "You're fired, Alfred," and then he ends up going back to the train station. He goes, "I don't want you to leave," because he realizes because without him he'd be nothing. Alfred is the backbone of that. In a way,
Emily, at this point.
And he's
like family at this point. You know what I mean?
He's the father, isn't he?
Well, he's one. I mean, sort of. Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get off soon because I'm running out of battery on this thing.
I think we'll wrap it up there anyway, and I think it's been a good chat tonight. I think it's been a more movie-orientated sort of chat, but I think we'll leave the extra Comic Con stuff and more collectible stuff for next week when Rob gets back, because Rob hasn't been feeling well. So so he'll be back next week.
What happened? Is Charlie still online, or did he leave?
Charlie left. He had to head off.
Okay. Well, it was good to see you, Charlie. If he watches this, But
Yeah.
you know, we had a good talk. You know, I know I've said this before, but I just want to say it again. I know I hope I didn't overtalk the conversation because.
Oh,
you know,
no. We need more talking, Mark. We need more people like you that talk more. So you can keep the
you talk
conversation
too much.
going.
Too much. I'm sorry, man. I felt bad for you because I was, oh my God, every time I mean, it's like I could see you want to say something and you're being very polite and patient, and I'm just going and on and on, and I'm sorry if you know.
It's no problem, Mark. You're far more interested than myself anyway, so it's always good to hear your side of
Oh
things.
no, are you kidding me? You're Batman.
Yeah, well, that is true.
You're the Batman of Perth.
That's it.
It's always good to see.
Yeah, so it's good. It's good to catch up with you.
The Dark Knight of Perth.
That's it. The Dark Knight of Perth. That's me.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Gotham is Perth, so it's just sunny instead of dark.
Well, that's what makes the whole identity thing work even more. You know, you know, sure, beautiful beach community in Australia, but at nighttime, it still hides the dark night that protects the beach from hooligan city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't have shark repellent in Australia. We ride the sharks. That's what I have my own Batman shark that arrive from location to location.
I hear you. Have you ever seen a shark in Australia? Like, have there really been any sightings of them?
You do get
in
sightings.
Perth. Like, I mean, obviously not up close, but I mean, things people think about in old beaches.
We do get sightings. I haven't seen any, as in on the like me being on the beach and looking into the ocean. I've never seen a shark, but you do get plenty of sightings, and it's like Jaws. The film is like a documentary here. You know, it's happening all the time. You know,
people. So in other words, they'll close the beach if they feel that it's dangerous.
Yeah, that's it. Like I said, the last few years we've had a few shark attacks, and this year we've had a few shark attacks. But as long as you don't go in the water when it's overcast and bad weather, you're usually fine. You just have to look for the signs. But yeah, I haven't seen any in the wild yet, as in great whites or anything like that. But part of me that hopes if I ever do see one, I'm on the beach and not in the water. You know.
Exactly. You know, God forbid, you know, always on the surface, never under the water. You know, that's you know. All right, Ryan. It was great chatting with you. And
yeah, it was great chatting.
Okay.
Yeah, so is that hopefully when
Hello?
was that, Mark? Just cut out a bit. When about did you say that?
Well, I said it was great talking to you.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's great. And then will you be on next week?
I'll try.
You try?
I'll try. I'll see what I can do. I think so. You know.
Okay.
I just can't
no
stay
problem,
away.
Mark. Yeah, that's it. We got true dedication anyway. But I'll speak to you soon, Mark. It's great having you, and I'll catch you later.
Thank you for having me. It's great seeing you and everybody too.
No worries. You too. See ya.